Hey guys, welcome back to Retro Gaming Rocks. Today I want to take a trip back in time with you and take a look at the Atari game catalogs of the 1980s. Let's check it out. Hey, welcome back guys. So I found these catalogs in my collection and I was looking through them, and a lot of good memories came back, and I wanted to share those with you. Back in the day, back in the 80s, before the existence of internet and all the technology we have today, getting games was very different from today. Today, we just click on a website, choose the games, pay, and a few days later, we get them in the mail, or we go to video game stores and pick our games and bring them home. We also can go like on eBay and buy, used games, or we go to flea markets or, thrift stores and we can find video games. Back in the day, it was very different. Back in the day, getting games involved pretty much going to the store with your parents and picking the games you wanted. Sometimes the game consoles included catalogs like these ones. And this was really good because I remember, for example, looking through the catalogs and picking the games that I wanted for, my birthday or the holidays or whatever, and telling mom, look, this is the game I want. So when you go to the store, make sure you pick that one. So I would mark it with a pen or, marker or whatever, so that they didn't forget. My mom was really good about that. She always try to get me what I wanted if the money was there. If not, hey. So the good thing about these catalogs is that, they gave you a description of the game. They also showed you what the game looked on the actual screen of the TV, because the cover art, as you know, was very different from what the game looked like. It's not like today. So Atari wasn't the only one that put out catalogs. Developers did too, and here we have two of the Activision little catalogs. We have the Summer '82 and the Winter '82 catalogs here, and this was great because if you got the Winter catalog early, you could see what games were coming out and what games were already available, and you could tell mom, hey, these are the ones that I want for the holidays or birthdays or whatever. And so it was really good to get a hold of these. Not everybody had them, and so sometimes, again, like I said, they would come in the consoles, or you go to the retail store and they would give you a catalog. So typically parents would bring these catalogs with them to the store, and based on what you marked on the catalog or what you told them you wanted, they would just go and get the games. Another way that you could get games back in the day was via mail order. So some companies that would sell video games for the consoles that existed in the era would sell games by mail. And so you had to, fill out an order form, pick the games that you wanted, and then, mail it, and they would get the mail, and then, a number of days later, they would ship it, and it would get to you, a few weeks after. So if you wanted to get it for Christmas, or somebody's birthday, you had to do it way in advance. You could send them a check or money order, or back in the 80s, we had something called COD, which was charge on delivery. So delivery companies were tasked with charging the clients that ordered something before giving them the product. So they would come to your door. They would tell you it's COD, so you got to pay X amount. So you would pay the driver, cash or a check. They would give you a receipt and give you the item. So those were the ways we got games back in those days. Either again, going to the store with your parents, or if they could be ordered by mail, you could do that. I never order any games in the mail with my parents. I typically went to the store, and that's how I got them. So why don't we take a look at these catalogs and see what the contents are, what they look like and all that. Let's take a look. All right, guys. So here are a few catalogs I have, or actually several catalogs for video games in the 80s. So I have Activision 1982 catalogs. I have let's see, 3 Atari catalogs that we used to choose or to buy video games that we wanted to get. So let's take a look at these. You can see the contents, what games they're showcasing in the catalog. Gives you a little bit of a description on the game, right? And here you are. It shows you a little bit of the screen, what the screen looks like. Again, these are very old and some have water damage, but these are pretty cool to have. Breakout, again, a little bit of a description, and shows you down here what the screen looks like. Circus Atari, Human Cannonball, Maze Craze, Pac-Man, Skydiver. So each one gives you a little bit of a description of the games. And then, classic games. And here you have Backgammon, Casino, Othello, 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, Video Checkers, and Video Chess. So this was pretty cool. And again, the Atari art was amazing. I mean, this is one of the best cover art. I mean, there's a lot of things today, that are awesome as well. But, for those days, this really helped you use your imagination when you actually play the game, because as you can see, the cover art has nothing to do, pretty much doesn't look like the actual game. But, it helped you, the art helped you use your imagination while playing the game, which was a big part of, gaming back in those days. Space Station are the space games. So Berserk, amazing game. I still play this game all the time. I love this game. Star Raiders, another fun space game. Again, you get the description and a little bit of the screen here. Notice that the screen that they show here are actually shaped like the TVs of the era, like CRTs. So they're not rectangular or anything like that. They're, sort of curved like the edges of the TVs back in the day. Again, Asteroids, Defender, Missile Command, Space Invader, Space War, Yard's Revenge. A lot of the space games, most popular ones. So, if you didn't know what to get back in the day, these were great. And you could, I would tell my mom, look, I won this game. This is what it looks like. Get it for me. And that's what they would do. So these were great for, for like the holidays when you request, what you want for the holidays. The next are adventure games. And so again, adventure, haunted house, Superman. And again, the description of the games with the gameplay. Next are racing games. And there were a few. Dodgem Indy 500, Night Driver. This was awesome. Slot Racers, Street Racer. So a lot of these games set the pace for, racing games in future consoles. So these were like, the pioneering games that made racing games what they are today. And then sports games. Now, this was never my type of game. So I never got any sports games at all whatsoever. Some people like them, but I really never did. Combat Zone, Air Sea Battle, Canyon Bomber, Combat, Outlaw, Warlords. So these were a lot of the fighting games or shooting games. Pretty cool stuff. And then, the educational games, never had one of these. And then accessories. This was great. I have wanted to have one of these for a long time. I haven't been able to find one. So as soon as I find one in decent condition, I'm going to buy this because I've always wanted one of these. I have a couple of these. These are awesome. I have a stackable shelf like this also but this is the one, the Atari Game Center. It's something that I really want. And then here you have, on the last page, some common attractions. So this was it, this is what a catalog looked like. Again, here's another one. A little bit different, but, again, shows you the game console and, a lot of the popular games. And it goes through, very similar paces, shows you a lot of the different games. I mean, again, I love the art that they used back in the day. Pretty cool stuff. And I'm gonna move quickly to this one because it's a little different than the previous one. Pretty cool stuff. Again, a lot of my younger friends who are gamers tell me, man, but the graphics look nothing like the images. And I still say to them, but that was the point. I mean, they didn't look like the images, but when you play these games, you use your imagination a lot. And that's something a lot of the younger players, don't have, not because they can't imagine things, but it's just they don't need to, because games today are so realistic that you don't need to use your imagination that much. Back then we did, and it was great. I mean, we enjoy these. I still enjoy Atari games. I'm a big Atari collector and player, so these games still play an important role in my life. And there you go. Then I have two Activision catalogs, Summer 82 and Winter 82. So Activision, as you know, was a great gaming company, still is. And Activision was founded by engineers and developers who left Atari and built their own game studio in the 80s. So Activision made some of the best games on the Atari 2600. Some of the most popular, cooler games, were made by Activision. These are some of my very favorite games. And I'm sure, everybody else remembers these amazing Activision games. And here are the leading designers, game designers of the era. So again, pretty cool little catalog. Let's look at the winter one really quick. Again, for the most part, the same games. River Raid, oh my God. This game still one of my favorite games ever. I enjoy this game so much. Spider Fighter, also an incredible game. So much fun to play this game. Sequest, great game as well. Pitfall, I don't even have to say anything about Pitfall. Pitfall 1 and 2 are some of the best, most loved Atari games ever. They've remade these games on newer consoles. These are just amazing. Kaboom is so much fun. Stampede as well. Barnstorming. Skiing was also pretty cool. The hockey game wasn't bad. One of the few sports games that I play were the skiing and the ice hockey. Grand Prix was also a lot of fun. I do have this one. Dragster. I don't have any of these strategy classic games. I don't. Yes, Pitfall, Stampede. And again, you could join teams back in the day. There were competitions, throughout the country in different cities. So it's pretty cool to compete, in Atari games of the era. So next, I'm gonna look at this 1983 Atari game catalog. This is like in a poster format. And so again, you can see this is a pretty cool one. It is, you know, in poster format, but it's a more modern looking catalog. And again, you know, some of the best games in the collection. Just amazing games for this console. So these were, you know, pretty cool. And lastly, I just want to show this little sort of, you know, cartoon comic book. It was a Centipede comic book. You know, pretty cool little comic. And again, you know, things like this were made to motivate people into buying the video game. You know, today they make movies out of video games or video games out of movies. You know, back then that wasn't the case. So they made, you know, little comic books and, you know, cartoons. We have Pac-Man cartoons back in the day, Mario Brothers cartoons also. So these are pretty cool things, you know, very nostalgic things of, you know, days gone by. And, you know, for older gamers like myself, these things bring a lot of memories, a lot of fun memories of video gaming in the 80s and, you know, during the holidays, you know, getting all these awesome games that we really loved. So again, so, you know, for me, this is a very nostalgic video because it reminds me of a lot of, you know, of nice things, good memories from those days in gaming on the Atari 2600. And, you know, the joy that we felt when, you know, we opened a holiday present and there were, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 games for the Atari, and we spent hours and hours and hours playing. So, you know, things like this are, you know, very dear to me, and I intend to keep this for a long time. Hey guys, so there you have it. That was a quick view at the 1980 Atari game catalogs. So if you guys ever use this to buy games or to tell your parents to buy you games, you know, let me know if you ever seen these before. I know some people have never seen these, so that's why I wanted to share this with everybody, because I know some people have not seen this. But if you did, let me know in the comments how you use these, where you got them, you know, that your parents used them to get the games you wanted, and so on. If you watch the video, please consider subscribing, clicking the like button and notification bell. It really means the world to me. I truly appreciate you guys coming to my channel, and I will see you on the next video. Have a good one.